Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. This is the March temperature anomaly across the European continent. You can see here that the majority of Europe is above average now for the month of March. The UK, I think, is close to the average. You know, when you compile the slightly warmer than average across the southwest corner versus the colder than average, I suppose maybe you could say that it's maybe just a fraction below average still. In the next couple of days, is going to see a little bit of a cold shock coming down before we see a recovery in temperatures as we progress towards the middle portion of the week here. So, like I say, it's going to wind up very close to average for the month of March overall. And this is off the GFS ensemble. So we've got the upcoming 5-day temperature anomalies here seen by the model. So you can see here that it is similar to what the actual March temperature anomaly is for the, warmer than average across the bulk of Ireland here, warmer than average for at least the western side of England, southwest England, and much of Wales, and below average for the upcoming 5 days across the bulk of Scotland here. Warmer than average across Iberia, as you can see here, colder than average across Scandinavia. But interesting enough, the 6 to 10 day period starts to show warmer than average conditions for the front running 4 days of April here. So this is really between the 30th of March and the 4th of April. You can see here that the bulk of the UK is warmer than average here. So this warm overall theme continues to show its hand month by month, and it will be interesting to see as we go through the remainder of spring and on into the summer months exactly what we're going to be seeing in terms of the temperature anomaly here and even precipitation. But over the next few days, we are going to continue to see below average conditions here. So we're going to start to lose the 16s and 17s for now anyway. Area of low pressure, as you can see here, this is off the ECMWF model. Now, this area of low pressure is going to affect the south of the UK and indeed northern and central France. The strongest winds, it looks as if it's going to be to the south of the channel. As we play through the loop here, you can see here that we're starting to pull in more of a northerly component to the winds across the far north, initially through Shetland and Orkney, and then into the far northern mainland. All the while, we've got that area of low pressure that's moving in, enhancing what has already been a wet month, particularly so across more southern portions of the British Isles. You notice here colder across the far north. That is now the cold air starting to dig south, and it's really once this feature here heads east, then we start to see the cold air filter all the way south over the British Isles. So instead of having 15, 16 Celsius in the south, we're going to be talking about 10, 11 Celsius at best, factoring in the northerly wind, and it will feel cold in that. Further north, could be talking about the highs 3 or 4 degrees, factor in the wind, possibly near the freezing mark even during the course of Monday afternoon. So it will feel cold, but nothing particularly out of the ordinary for even the end of March, early April. We've had many spells of colder conditions really in the past. So that area of low pressure, as you can see here, moves east and southeast. That northerly wind brings in some snow showers. It doesn't look as if we're going to get a great deal of snow out of that. And then this area of high pressure, you can see here, builds in. That will provide some fairly cold nights. Tonight, across the north, below freezing. And then during Sunday and the Monday, we are going to see a more widespread frost across the majority of the UK, I think. Then, as we progress through the course of Monday and into Tuesday, there's a system, a large area of low pressure out over the Atlantic. That is going to be the game changer as we progress towards the middle portion of the week. So it looks as if that area of high pressure hangs on through the remainder of Monday, and then as we progress into the day on Tuesday, we can start to see that next weather system coming in with more rain, increased wind, and we may see initial snow over high ground before milder conditions replace that chilly theme. Then as we progress towards the end of the month, we've got a firmly Atlantic-driven pattern. Some areas of low pressure look as if they could be reasonably deep, seen by the models, and that could enhance the wind conditions, as well as continuing to bring in some fairly heavy rainfall at times as well. So no great changes in the overall pattern through the remainder of March, as you can see here. Let's have a quick scan at the CFS monthly, CFS V2 monthlies. This is for April, and you can see here predominantly warmer than average across the bulk of the UK and indeed Ireland. Notice here that we have got Central and Northern Europe below average, which is quite interesting. For the month of May, looks as if it's pretty warm across the board. The month of June, the month of July, the month of August. So it looks as if, according to the CFSV2, and there is a bias, I think, of warmth, it looks as if we've got warm over the next few months. We'll watch this space. I'm not entirely convinced. Remember, I showed you just at the beginning of the work week how there was an area of low pressure expected to the west of the UK for the July period. Let's actually have a look at the upper chart here, because this is what I'm saying, how it can quickly change. And, there is literally no trough there to the west of the UK, and that's only in the space of, less than a week. And we've got this big change already. So sometimes looking at these charts in advance is pretty much a waste of time, I think, because they just simply are not accurate enough. They aren't they're not reliable enough to be able to go, well, I think this is what's going to happen. I still believe that we are going to see a wetter theme this upcoming summer. We're overdue it. We've got the transition down El Nino, and of course El Nino's, a lot of people tend to think that it just jacks up the temperature full stop, but not necessarily. We can get wetter months, we can get cooler months, even with this transition from La Nina to El Nino. 2012 is a perfect example of that. So we'll wait and see what happens. And of course, in the coming weeks, we will be looking more and more at what the summer ideas are going to be. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Short and sweet today. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll hopefully be back tomorrow with a global weather and climate report. So stay tuned. Bye for now.